There we go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the best Mania songs ever in history, in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You can't have a WrestleMania season without this one.
No, when you see that we're people of a certain age now, when you think of WrestleMania, this is the song.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the case for the younger generations, let's say.
It just sends chills down my spine.
It's the song, man. It is the WrestleMania song. And I was joking about this before, but God, if I'm right, I don't know if I would be happy or disappointed. I said, wait until Pitbull and Flo Rida remix this for next year's WrestleMania.
Oh, God. Could you imagine?
Yes, I could.
You know what it is? It was just so simple. And you knew when you heard the trumpet start to blare, you knew it was Mania time.
And it was, you heard Vince go, live from Madison Square Garden. You did the whole thing. Oh, my God. The Trump Taj Mahal. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Oh, it was so good. So good.
So,
all right.
We're, 19 days? I don't even know. The countdown is on.
We're at 19 days. 19 days and counting, I believe.
Well, I'm very excited, man.
Yes. Finally coming back to New York.
Well,
we're all going. Hang out with us in the parking lot because we're going to be there all fucking day.
This is
17 days.
Like both Michael Cole said, in the shadows of New York. Because they don't want to admit it's in New Jersey.
They never want to say it's New Jersey. I mean, I get it. The Jets and the Giants play there, so.
I mean, it's not like it's in Newark or something,
It's
live from the murder capital of New Jersey.
It's just, it's got to be New York. It's got to be.
Yeah.
No rhyme or reason other than it just has to be, and that's it.
It's too bad that
take over tri-state area.
Yeah.
Basically, if you look up the events that are going on, they're all between New York City and then New Jersey.
Yeah, just bouncing back and forth, which means traffic is going to be a fucking nightmare. So pick a place and stay there.
Seriously. I think like Tuesday through starting Tuesday and Wednesday, I think. Tuesday through the rest of the weekend. Like there's wrestling shows and events just leading up to it. The Tuesday, like they start really early for those people who are, I guess, making a week's vacation out of it. I'm making a weekend out of it, but
I bought tickets for that Friday's WrestleCon. I'm going in the
city. I unfortunately am only really going to be able to partake in Mania this year. Unfortunately, I just got a lot of stuff going on.
And everything's so expensive.
Everything, it adds up. It adds up. At the end of the day, what's important is the apps launching and getting that all together, and then WrestleMania. But before we get to WrestleMania, we have to continue on the road to WrestleMania, and boy, is it an interesting road. And before we talk about SmackDown from last week, and before we talk about in detail Raw, we have to start with the most explosive thing to happen on Raw last night, and then we can always jump back to SmackDown and finish Raw. Yep. But I gotta get this off right off the bat, because I am completely blown away by the decision to have Baron Corbin be the guy that wrestles Kurt Angle's last match at WrestleMania. I am not necessarily a hater of Baron Corbin like others. He's not my favorite, by any means, but he should not be in that spot. And
I agree.
I'll tell you one thing that scares the crap out of me about this entire situation. And let me just get this all out, and then I will give it all to you. Okay? But one of my biggest fears is if history is to repeat itself, most of the time when a wrestler is wrestling their final retirement type match, they lose. So not only is Baron Corbin going to be the one to wrestle Kurt Angle's final match at WrestleMania, but he will be the guy that beats Kurt Angle, and that sucks more than anything else. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to go that way, but let's call a spade a spade. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
And so that is a very big concern. On the flip side, rumor, not sure if it's true, but because of the outpouring backlash that has been all over social media, I am hearing rumors that WWE may be changing course. So who knows? In my opinion, they said it, they're going with it, and that's what it is. If Vince McMahon is sold on it being Baron Corbin, then it's going to be Baron Corbin, and it is going to suck big donkey balls. Gentlemen, I give it to you.
I mean, that's about as
I never thought I'd say that a Kurt Angle match will be my bathroom break at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But it can't, only because it's his last match, and you know you're going to want to watch it. I get what you're saying.
I mean, it's still Kurt Angle in there.
Well, right. You know, and let me tell you something. His match with Gable was phenomenal last night, and it just shows you that even in an actual wrestling match, Angle can still go. And fucking Christ, man.
And
Baron Corbin.
Real good, too.
I mean, everybody on that roster. Baron Corbin.
I know Jose at this point.
Baron Corbin.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wish I could expand more upon this, but really you hit the nail on the head. It's just, it stinks. It's not a good decision. I disagree vehemently with it. It's no good.
Corbin. What the fuck?
This almost pisses me off more than Undertaker losing the streak.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, because if Angle does have to put over Baron Corbin on his way out, that's real shitty. Like,
you know, I sat there last week, and they send out Dana fucking Brooke to Ronda Rousey, and I'm saying to myself, why? Why the fuck out of all the people on the fucking roster in the back? Why Brooke? Why? And then
to do what they did last night.
They did it again last night. They fed her again. And then I felt pretty good about it because she got absolutely fucking destroyed, and it looks like they're selling an injury, which is going to keep her out for a while. Awesome. I'm okay with that. But it still goes back to the same thing as Baron Corbin. Why? Whoever made this decision or whoever put the bug in Vince's ear, hey, I think this would be a great idea to have Angle's last match, should be fired.
I agree.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Angle is the type of guy, he'll do it. He'll be happy to do it. But and it was his idea to have
Corbin. The idea that it's his idea that he picked Corbin of everybody.
Yeah, I'm hearing rumors about that he picked Corbin. I don't believe that.
That's what they had him say.
That I mean, you could have chosen anybody because it's a joint show. You could have done an AJ Styles if you wanted to. You didn't have to do AJ Orton. You could have done AJ Kurt Angle.
Could have been
with Joe Kurt Angle. You could have revived some of like the classic. Oh, come on. I would have been happier with Chad Gable. Do the match they did last night at Mania over Baron Corbin.
I agree, man.
He doesn't
or if they didn't waste Shelton Benjamin last week.
He doesn't deserve to be the guy to end the career. No.
I don't even want him on the WrestleMania card, let alone in Angle's last match.
And let me be clear of something, too. Even if I'm wrong and Angle does win, I still don't feel better about the situation.
No.
I'm with you. The only thing that you should hold out hope for is we've just seen Vince McMahon walk out and change a main event match on a whim, like the last 2 or 3 months. So maybe they'd call an audible here. Somebody comes out and changes the match because
I heard a rumor about it's about to go down, but then someone beats the shit out of Corbin in the back, and then someone else comes out.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd totally be okay with that, but then
there's no build-up, though.
Right, then there's no build. It's
you know what
still...
though, but you don't need it. I think in this case you wouldn't need the kind of buildup you're thinking about, and I get where you're coming from, but I think in this case the buildup on its own is that it's his last match and it's WrestleMania.
That's true.
So that's enough buildup. It could be anybody, but it's got to make sense. Like
they've already been plugging it,
and like, listen, I get it. It makes sense story wise why it would be Baron, because he tortured him when he took the GM job. I get it. But no. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, or Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, that made sense. That made sense. This just doesn't make any sense. None, not even a little. And I really hope that they do something about it. I really do.
Yeah, I have a feeling after the response, and I heard that like Angle's wife was replying to people on Twitter about how
that could be a work too, though.
Yeah, maybe, but then she like deleted the tweets. Who knows? The whole thing's kind of.
But you know what? That could be a work too, because they know, like, they do it and then delete it, and it'll look like it didn't come from. I mean, they've mastered the art of storytelling on social media now.
For sure.
And as much as I dislike Corbin in general, I almost feel bad for him though, with the backlash he must be receiving right now.
Yeah.
You know what though? Don't feel bad for him, because he's enjoying every minute of it.
Oh, that's true.
At the end of the day, people are talking about Baron Corbin. He was probably trending, on Twitter and everything else. So for him, you got to remember, as far as the talent is concerned, any kind of reaction is a good reaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if you get the reaction you're looking for.
So and he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I don't think he gets.
Yeah, I mean, like LeBar brought up. He's like, I don't think it's the case that Corbin has go away heat. He's got heat is heat, and he's got it by the droves. Like, people boo, but I mean, not me. I changed the channel when he's on.
Well, I don't. In the hopes that
public
he's his ass kicked.
I think the general public,
Well, just look at the response when Kurt came out and said it was Baron Corbin. It was like a wet fart. Yeah, like honestly, if in that moment Kurt Angle farted, everybody would have been able to hear him because nobody responded or reacted.
Well, because I mean, all day, for a few days, they were talking, Angle's going to make the announcement, the buildup. You looked forward to it. They waited until halfway through the show, and then Baron Corbin, and you're like, wow, really? Like, you were so pumped to find out who, and then it just took the wind out of the sail.
When the expectation is like John Cena, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, anybody, like any number of, right. Rey Mysterio would be a good. They have always had good matches. Any number of big name guys he could have called out, and that's the whole ridiculousness of it. Is, you're assuming in storyline, Kurt Angle bypassed all of his past opponents that he had classic matches with. He bypassed putting over, like a Chad Gable or wrestling Shelton Benjamin. Not that Shelton's a WrestleMania caliber opponent necessarily, but he could.
It could be a great match.
It would still be a good match. What
Shelton Benjamin is phenomenal in the ring, and that would have made sense,
right?
Because you could have tied it back to
except
the greatest tag team, whatever they were called.
Baron Corbin was very low on the list. Yeah, Finn Balor would be a nice match.
Finn Balor versus Kurt Angle would be great.
Well, yeah, but they're going to do Finn versus
Lashley. Right. Lashley.
Oh
God. All right. Well, I think we covered that. We got that off our chest.
It's better now.
I don't like it.
No, I still don't feel better because I'm not going to feel better until I see that the match changes. So I guess we should kind of rewind a little and maybe touch on SmackDown from last week, because SmackDown was really great.
It was a good show.
We got Shane's explanation of why he did what he did. Great segment. Kofi finally, as you can see on Ryan's TV tonight, has to fight the gauntlet match, which if he wins, he will get his Mania shot. So pretty damn sure Kofi's going to be winning. How he's going to win is very interesting.
Now, here's the thing, Steve. If you listened to the wording that Vince McMahon used, he said, if you win the gauntlet match, you'll be going to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He never said you're going to be the number one contender and wrestle Daniel Bryan. This is the same thing that they did with the triple threat match. It's going to be a triple threat match. Your match starts now. Those were two separate statements.
Yep. And Kofi does not leave New York with.
I'm just saying this is going to be another.
It doesn't become Kofi Mania.
It's going to be another roadblock. He's going to get there. I'm just saying tonight. I think he's going. Obviously, the gimmick is he's going to go through this whole thing and win. But I think at the end of it, Vince McMahon's going to say, here you go, pal, free tickets to WrestleMania. And then you've got another hour to resolve that if you want to end it at SmackDown, or you can go to next week. But
he's going to win, and then the rope's going to be pulled out from under him.
It has to, just the way that they intentionally had, because Vince McMahon scripts every single word that everybody says down to what the commentary says for the most part. Vince McMahon intentionally said, if you win this match, you'll be going to WrestleMania. He said nothing about wrestling in the match. So
you're right.
I'm expecting shenanigans. Shenanigans.
How long have you been waiting to use that word?
Oh,
I would love if they New Day declared shenanigans. I could see them doing that.
We also really need to touch on Randy Orton AJ Styles promo.
Yeah. Randy
Orton's promo to start the whole segment was awesome.
When Randy cares, it's like Brock. When Brock cares, it's awesome. When Randy cares, it's awesome. This was
he meant every word of it. You got the conviction out of him, and what he said wasn't wrong. This is the house that Randy Orton built. If you're gonna call a spade,
SmackDown was his I mean, it was Angle and him, there was a whole group of guys that made SmackDown what it was, and he was one of them.
And I love how Randy threw in there while you were over there playing with Dixie Carter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was awesome throughout her name. So it was a great segment. It got me excited to see them.
For sure.
I think that match has potential out of the quote unquote 17 potential matches that it does have a good shot at being one of the best of the night.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Even though both of these guys are, pushing 40, they can wrestle their asses off. And like I said, when Randy cares, so he makes it a show. And I expect if this is, I don't know how much longer Randy Orton is going to wrestle. He probably in the shape he's in, he could wrestle for another 10 years if he wanted to. But
easily.
But if this is, if you're considering this or looking at it like both of these guys are in their 40s, they don't have many WrestleManias left. They're going to pull out all the stops and make this a great match. So I have high hopes for this one. I had high hopes for Nakamura, AJ Styles too. But
yeah,
it was still a good match. It was just a weird finish, but I have a feeling
the finish ruins the match, unfortunately. Because that's all you remember, and it sucks because they did have a great match. But,
and even, I know it's been almost a year. We should be over it. But if they just had Shinsuke kick him in the balls before the end of the match and then pin him and then heel turned and won the title.
Yeah.
Sure. But he turned after the match and then never ended up winning the title. So what was the fucking point?
And then Daniel Bryan was the one that ended up turning at the same time as winning the title.
Yeah, the whole thing was like they pushed it back or decided against it like last minute or something.
Plus, they never gave Samoa Joe the title either.
No, that was the other thing. There should have been. Listen, AJ had a good long run, and I appreciate now in the days of 24-hour title changes or whatever that we have a good long title reign in AJ Styles WWE Championship run, the last one here. But yeah, there are arguments that even if the belt ended up back with AJ, it should have gone to Shinsuke and it should have gone to Joe. At least one of the option shouldn't have been neither guy got it. If it had to be one or the other, I get that. But at least one of them, man. That's crazy. That's just I disagree. Once again, I disagree. Family Guy. But SmackDown was a good show. It's all it's the most solid show, and I think that not having 3 hours is always a good thing.
How are we feeling about Shane's heel turn? I like Shane as a heel.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always a good heel. So
he's so much like his father. It's you know.
I like the idea because it was different, and it actually kind of works now. Like if we said this like 2 or 3 years ago, The Miz was still too big of a heel to be considered turning like this.
Well, this is such a nice change of pace because we haven't really had a face Miz in a long time, and I'm starting to think a lot of it might be because of Miz and Mrs.
I think so,
and I think that's why they turned him face, because he's hilarious on the show.
Right, people got to know.
He's likable, you know what I mean?
Right, he's more likable.
Interaction between him and his mother-in-law is hysterical.
Yeah,
and what's the dad's name? George.
Papa Giorgio.
He's the guy. The guy has no acting chops whatsoever, but I can't.
Potato face.
I can't take my eyes off him. Yes, potato face. I can't take my eyes off him. Somehow, The Miz came out of that guy's ball.
Right, like that guy produced The
It's
Miz.
Amazing.
Really?
Kind of like Mick Foley and Noel.
Yeah, although you can definitely tell from like the waist down that she's related to Mick Foley. And that's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. I was going to say.
Making an observation. I'm not body shaming anybody.
Noel is also one of the sweetest people I've ever met.
Yes, she is. But it's just, I think you're right. I think people got to see The Miz, and it started out kind of, maybe not as a goof, but like he's, maybe the expectation was he'd still be kind of a heel on the show, but he's more of like just a goofy dad kind of thing. He's like the Brady Bunch dad, except with a bunch of money and only like 2 kids. But like he's like a goofy sitcom dad, but he's The Miz. So it's so weird. But now it's carried over to the.
You can tell how proud he is of him too, like watching him and all that. Like you could just see it.
The Miz is having the time of his life doing this stuff. Like he got to have Maurice come out and announce that they're having another baby. Like the whole thing is just working out for him. For a guy that was being kicked out of the locker room and had to dress in the hallway, and JBL didn't like him, nobody liked him. He stunk so bad he was the host of Smackdown, and when he stunk at that, they move him over to the Diva Search, and he was reading the phone number off his hand, and he fucked up reading up the phone number. Like he was a mess, and he turned it around. And
have we ever seen Maurice as a babyface?
Does this current run count? Because this might be.
I mean, I guess this would have to count, but I don't recall ever seeing it.
No, she was foreign, so she was always a bad guy.
Yeah.
The only time she got cheered is when she was in the tub with Big Dick Johnson.
Yeah.
Well, she got cheered when she first returned. Even
that's true. Yeah,
the crowd popped for her.
Right, but she wasn't being booked as a babyface just yet.
No.
I think she can be now, especially with The Miz face.
Well, yeah.
But going back to Shane as a heel, I remember his one-on-one program with X-Pac years ago was awesome.
He had a good one with
Shane had a lot of great ones. He had a great one with Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that Kane one where he got shot in his balls.
Yeah, he got a great match out of Test.
Yeah, he had a good one with Big Show.
Yeah, that Big Show. Which way did he go, George, or whatever?
Shane McMahon's done his thing. Like Shane's no joke. I mean, he's not the best in the ring, but he's willing to do crazy shit. You know what I mean?
If it's so funny how similar each generation is to the last. Vince's dad didn't want him to wrestle. Vince ended up wrestling. Vince didn't want Shane to wrestle. Shane ended up wrestling.
Yeah.
Both guys, honestly, if they trained regularly, could have been good wrestlers. There's something there. Like they know the business really well.
But Vince didn't need to be a good wrestler. He made it that much better because he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Right. But what I'm saying is if he wanted to have like a run when he was in like his 20s or his 30s, he could have had a run if like things were different. His dad felt a different way, or he said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do it anyway and take the lessons and train and, work the loops and get experience in. he could have been, you know, I don't think he could have been a world champion in the days of Hulk Hogan, but he could have been mid-card guy for sure with his size.
Heel, high card heel.
Yeah,
Hogan.
he could be like a Hercules Hernandez kind of level, where he could jump between like doing main events or tag match main events and then going back to the mid card. I'm just saying it's funny to look back and see those guys and go like, what if? Like Shane, we know his punches stink and they look like they don't do any damage, but he's athletic for a guy of his age and can jump. He jumps off of stuff and does the coast to coast, and he's
damn entertaining.
Yeah, and he's very entertaining. He's charismatic, so he's got all the tools in the toolbox. But again, he wasn't allowed to become a full-time wrestler, so we wouldn't really ever know what would have happened. But it would have been interesting to see if Shane became full-time. Would they have gone a route where he had a different name and they pretended he wasn't a McMahon until the time was right? Or like, would he wrestle under a mask? Like, what would they do?
It's almost better that he didn't.
I know. Now it's like
in a way.
It is because of the way he ended up becoming part of the show. He came on
and then it's like you look forward to a Shane McMahon match.
Yeah, and you do. It would be. You're right. It would be less special if he was full time. But I think I think that's going to be one of the matches I'm more looking forward to on a 17 match card.
The promo video is going to be awesome for it.
Yeah, it'll never top the Miz's promo from WrestleMania.
Yeah, the main event
Cena.
with
the Hate
Cena.
Me Now. Oh my God, when they played that Hate Me Now thing. Oh, good God.
And the giant
that was awesome.
Miz letters that he
awesome. They need to have something like that. Maybe he'll bring the bubble letters back or have like giant letters or something.
I think they're going to give him a pretty cool entrance.
It's WrestleMania. They have to. They have to, man. I'm looking forward to this show. I know it's going to be long. I know it's going to last literally all day, but
that's an understatement.
Well, we got some great shit though. We got Triple H, Batista.
Yeah, and their horrible Photoshopped faces.
And lack of nipples.
Yeah, you guys have to look back at that thing. If you're listening to this show, go look at the match graphic for Triple H versus Batista. They take at least 10-year-old picture of Triple H and put his head on it from 2019. And they did the same thing with Batista, old body, new headshot, photoshopped on, but then they erased his nipples. And there was no reason to erase Batista's nipples. Triple H had nipples.
That in Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax had sensitive nipples.
That's right. And then Ryan said that the nipples, what was it? They were so still they were invisible. Whatever the line was from Infinity War.
And then I put up the I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
I have nipples, Greg. Could you? It was just weird. There were no nipples on the thing. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to most of the matches that are announced. I don't think aside from the Baron Corbin Kurt Angle one, there are no stinkers in the bunch.
It's just going to be a very, very long.
Oh,
I mean, sure. They're rumoring 17 matches.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think it does a disservice, especially if the women are the main event. It does a disservice to them because everyone's going to be so burnt out by the time that happens. People are going to be tired and,
Well, not only that, but it also means that a lot of matches are going to be pretty short, too.
Right.
Yeah, some of them that are less consequential. They'll
I mean, I don't honestly. I don't want either battle royal anymore ever.
Well, now I'm glad you brought that up. So the other thing that kind of annoys me is Braun Strowman's going to be in the battle royal. Like that's the best we could come up with for Braun Strowman. I mean, there was a time we actually thought he was going to be, going for the title and winning at Mania, and he's going to be in the Andre Rumble. Like,
why isn't Braun Kurt's opponent?
I wouldn't want to see that.
Well, more than Corbin.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody more than Corbin, but
I want Kurt to have a wrestling match.
right.
Yeah, no, that's true.
As his last.
He's
match.
not going to get one with Corbin either.
Well, yeah, and that's the other disappointing.
So that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how about this women's tag team thing?
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up. So, listen, I'm a fan of Beth Phoenix, and I'm glad that she wants to make a comeback and this and that. That's
some
awesome.
say she's still delivering that Hall of Fame speech to this day.
Yeah, but I'm kind of bummed because I honestly thought it was going to be like Trish and Lita or something big. It's Mania. Beth Phoenix is a big deal, but not like Trish and Lita.
Yeah, I'm surprised. The crowd was actually like pumped for Beth Phoenix.
I was because I didn't want it to be Nia and Tamina.
Oh, for sure. But it was just weird to me. Like people remembered, like Beth Phoenix wasn't around for that long, right?
Yeah,
like,
not really.
She only really was around for like 5 years, right?
She made an impact, though.
She did, but I'm saying it was cool that the crowd was that into the idea of her being in this match. Like, all right.
I love Nia, like as far as like her being a heel, what she said. She's like, I've done more in 3 years than Beth has in her whole. I'm like, what?
Yeah, let's back that up. That's not true.
I'm like, that's good as far as like a heel saying that, but come on.
Yeah, I like it. I guess, are we gonna have the what do they call them? The Divas of Doom against the Samoans? Has that happened, or will that happen? You think?
Like, will they make that the winner of that match? Gets the title shot or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I
don't want it to be a triple threat with Nia and Tamina in there at all.
No, is it bad because the other team was the Divas of Doom? I want to call them the Bitches of Botch.
What else are you gonna do with them, though? That's the problem. What else you do with Nia and Tamina? You got to put them in there somehow.
I don't really, frankly, give a shit.
I know, but
Alexa smashes a coconut on their heads.
But not everybody has to be in. Like this is the thing. They want to do these battle royals because they want to get everybody on the cards. That's why they also do the multi-man matches.
They want everyone to get a payday.
I mean, that's understandable, but like, I don't know.
I mean, I get it. I think
we'll have a couple battle royals.
I mean, shit. Look at last year. Becky was on the fucking pre-show battle royal, and now she's going to the main event.
Well, look at
a bad thing.
Well, look at Alexa.
Yeah, she's hosting.
Alexa wrestled the second to last match of WrestleMania last year,
and now she's the host.
Yeah.
Or New Day. I was disappointed when the New Day were the host because I wanted them to wrestle.
Yeah. They could have done both.
Yeah. I thought when they were announcing the Hardys, they were going to announce themselves.
Well, yeah, that was the whole thing. They made it look like they were going to announce themselves. But they could have done... There was a spot... Listen, there's a spot for the New Day on WrestleMania. Come on now.
They will. They'll find a spot for them. There's still time.
Yeah.
I think if we potentially see Usos versus Hardys, I'm very excited about that.
That match is happening.
That'd be great.
I think they made that official already.
Oh, they did?
I think so. Yeah.
And
there was a back and forth with them on Twitter.
Looks like
I haven't really been paying attention, but that's awesome to me.
Yes, I agree with you. That's going to be a great match.
Yeah, Hardy's renewed. AJ Styles renewed.
I think it'd be really funny if Matt Hardy goes how we discussed the possibility of him going kind of back and forth between characters. What if he does that within one match?
That's very
hilarious.
That would be amazing.
Like he gets hit in the head and changes gimmicks.
Yeah,
that would be pretty.
Kind of hit him in the ring post and have him come
or even mid entrance, like he does the V1. But then he does the broken stuff and
No, that's all very possible. I like that.
I would love to see them just go full in on Broken Hardy though, and with the tag team.
I wish they did. There was a match that they wrestled against the Young Bucks years ago that I was watching, and during the middle of the match, the Young Bucks knocked Jeff out of the ring, and then he rolled under the ring, and like 2 minutes later came back out dressed like Willow, and like hit him with an umbrella and did the whole Willow thing.
Yeah.
I would be okay with, like, if Matt Hardy's gonna change gimmicks in the match, have Jeff be Willow for a little while too. Why not?
Well, I don't think Willow, but he can be hero and, like, you know.
Right, but he could roll under the ring and come back out with like different face paint or like contacts in or some shit. I don't know. You know, like, do some different stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's very possible, and I think now that they're back together, that's definite possibility.
Yeah, like they're definitely going to do the Hardy Boys nostalgia run with the like.
I mean, look, the pop they got at Mania a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was so.
They got the biggest pop of the night.
It was. Oh yeah, absolutely. It was great being there live and seeing that happen. Holy shit. That was the moment. I mean, and I know we had the supposed retirement of The Undertaker, but it's not as special now because he didn't really retire. So the moment of the show was the Hardys coming back, because nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
Everybody thought they knew. Nobody knew.
Just the way they did it was great.
Well, especially when
they at before Mania?
You were on Ring of Honor the night before, and then you were like, yeah, there's definitely no way now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was interesting watching that Ring of Honor. I went to the Ring of Honor show the night before in, like, you know, I think they sold like 5,000 seats or something like that, but it was a little arena. And then the next night, 80,000 people, whatever the fuck it is, and they're out there wrestling. And it goes to show that they were they love wrestling, man. They love wrestling. But yeah, what they did, Ryan, was there was and this was pretty brilliant. They had a Hardy's WrestleMania tailgate party.
Yeah, I couldn't remember where they were at before Mania.
So they were having like a barbecue. And as I was on my phone that day reading the wrestling rumors, they said at one point a limousine pulled up to the barbecue and the Hardys got inside. And I'm like, oh, all right, maybe some shit is happening now. and lo and behold, they came out and it was great. So I mean, even if it was like slightly spoiled for me, I don't give a shit. That was a wonderful moment. That's the moment of a lifetime.
See how excited the New Day were when
they legitimately didn't know. Like if you watch, they did a whole special about
it. Like 5 people total knew.
Yeah. They rushed them in. They kept them in a trailer. They had hoodies on. Like nobody knew. They came out of the trailer and went right to Gorilla. So so that was true reaction, which those are always the best. You know what I mean? And I mean the goosebumps.
Kind of like AJ's debut at the Rumble.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes, because nobody knew at first because you didn't know the music, and then you saw the phenomenal one come on the Titantron, and everybody went ballistic. I mean,
I Am Phenomenal.
I remember reading the next day how shocked Vince was at the reaction he got because Vince thought, oh, he was in TNA, nobody knew about him.
That's why he gave him 2 title reigns.
Which, by the way, since I mentioned that, it kind of opens up a little segue. EC3.
Oh boy.
Everything I'm reading is that the reason why he's getting no push while guys like Alistair and Ricochet and all the new guys are getting pushed is that Vince McMahon is not a fan of EC3. My first question would be, why is he not a fan of EC3? And number 2, if you're not a fan of EC3, why the fuck did you bring him back in the first place?
Don't pull him up.
You'd think he'd be the prototypical Vince guy.
Very fair questions.
He was so good in TNA if they would just let him do his thing. I like what did he do to piss off Vince McMahon? If what they're saying is true, that's the reason. I mean, and quite frankly, what other reason could there be that they're not using him? He's talented as hell, and he could really be a top guy.
I want to know what's the point of plucking him out of NXT if you weren't going to do anything.
Yeah, that's the other thing is if you're not going to do anything with him.
Right, he would have had a more prominent NXT match on the TakeOver card.
That was probably a Triple H move.
Yeah, trying to figure. Oh, once he's up on the main roster, they'll find him something to do and they'll like him. Nope, they just he's the narcissist Lex Luger without 90% of the gimmick. He just stands in front of a mirror and oils himself.
But look at that. I mean, look at the guy. Like that seems to me the prototypical guy that Vince McMahon would like.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, he's jacked. He's good looking. He's talented in the ring. He's great on the mic. They should have a feud with him and Matt Hardy, and Vince will get sold.
He's also super awesome in person.
Yeah. You met him.
You know what got me to be a fan of his? It was when he was doing the campaign of EC3 for champ when he was against Kurt Angle. And then he had this like barbershop quartet come out and sing. And the Angle gave the Angle Slam to the last guy. That was hysterical.
See, for me, what got me over on EC3 was his feud with Matt Hardy. He was just the perfect heel and then turned face throughout the whole. It was just the whole story was great because it was like a double turn. You know, Matt turned and EC3 turned and the crowd turned and shifted and back and forth, and it was just such a well done feud, and the matches were great. I mean, they had one match that was brutal, and it went on forever. It was just a great match, and you didn't want it to end. It was one of those, you know. But I just don't get it. I mean, if you don't like the guy, then why the fuck did you hire him? I mean, you know, if that's the case, let him fucking go to AEW. He'll be a big star over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if it's a case of Vince just wanting to prove everybody right that he was right, that he was nothing?
I mean, you know, listen, it's not like Vince McMahon's not known to do that, but it's just fucking shitty.
That's what
but EC3 went somewhere else, became something.
Yeah.
Outside, you know. I know, you know, they don't really like that too much.
Yeah, but you know what? Obviously they recognize that because they brought him back to NXT. So, you know, it's just...
Yeah, the whole thing doesn't really make sense.
Makes no fucking sense.
And, you know, we touched upon this and we're still, to this day, baffled as to why they put Spud as a replacement for Ellering with AOP. We discussed this. Why not take Spud out of that role, especially with one of them...
Put him back with EC3.
Put him back with EC3.
100%. They were great together.
That'd be cool.
What they really should do is put them back together, and then they should bring back fucking, he's known as Tyrus now.
Right, yeah.
But they should bring
him
back, not as the Funkasaurus, and be the muscle for EC3 and recreate.
Like when he was the muscle for Alberto.
Because when those three were together in TNA, it was great, and it just worked. You know, Tyrus was just the muscle, and you know, then of course, you know, it turned to EC3 kind of abusing him, and you know, it just worked. You know, I don't even know is he still in TNA, Tyrus? I know he's like a Fox News contributor, but
no, I don't think he's.
I don't even know if he's wrestling anymore.
I don't think he is. I you know, if he's even wrestling anymore, he's probably wrestling on the Indies, but I don't think he's like on TV anywhere.
I'm taking a look right now.
Well,
like you said, Fox News.
Maybe AEW will pick him up. He's a smart guy.
He is a very smart guy. He's very well spoken.
Very political too. Okay, on Fox News, but he
he's on the Greg Gutfeld.
Oh God.
That's right.
You know what? I might be in the minority, but I fucking loved it at first.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was so weird.
I loved the My Bad.
That was a lot. Yeah, see, to me,
I think
it gave him a couple little extra years on his career, because if he would have been just the monster just right away, he would have faded out like a lot quicker, I think.
Yeah,
he would have been fed to Cena and faded away.
You know what's mind-blowing to me? The only one that really made it in WWE from that entire group was Naomi.
I
know, right?
Yeah.
And then she became a noose.
Well, look at Carmella, right? Same thing with that.
Yeah, out of Enzo and Cass, the success story was Carmella.
That's true. That's amazing.
It is.
But it would have been weirder if the success story was Cameron, though, because she was awful.
Yeah, it would have been a big turnaround for sure.
Yeah, she really had no talent at all.
And she was like Eva Marie in that she was trying to just use the WWE for her own, you know, her own things.
Right, to try and further like a reality.
Whereas Naomi clearly cared about the business.
Yeah.
And hell, she's married into the business now.
Well, and not only that, but if you look at Naomi, like even now with the whole glow and everything, like she created all that. She's the one that
found something that fits her and it's perfect.
Right.
For sure. Speaking of the women's wrestlers, what did you guys think of the whole Ronda, Dana Brooke, Travis Brown coming down and interfering? Like that whole segment there.
That was probably one of the best segments of the entire night.
I'm still not familiar with him, really.
He's a beast, but he's not very well liked in the UFC either. But I think it was great because it added some realism to it, of course. And, now he's been banned, so now nobody can stop Ronda, which is great. I love the heel Ronda. It's working. She's doing a great job. She's backing it up on social media. She's got the T-shirts. She's doing it right. And, and then, of course, the social media is feeding into it. Ronda's not going to stay after Mania because the fans turned on her and this and that. At the end of the day, it's wrestling. She's getting a reaction. That's why she turned heel, because it made sense, and she's doing a great fucking job. Yeah. And I couldn't be happier that it was Dana Brooke that got the abuse.
I love that they built this matchup so much. Yeah. And
Dana with her promo.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was exactly what needed to happen.
Yep.
And then I like the Travis Brown thing. I like people online are like, oh, Travis Brown, I don't like him. Yeah, that's the point, dummy. You don't like Travis. MMA fans don't like Travis Brown. There is accusations. There's accusations that he was like a domestic abuser with his prior wife.
Good luck doing that to Ronda.
I was going to say, he ain't going to do that to Ronda.
Right, and then I guess the story goes, and again, I'm going to say allegedly across all of this because I don't know them personally. Allegedly, he cheated on his wife with Ronda and then divorced the wife and then got together with Ronda.
So the other woman?
People don't like him. Yeah, so people don't like him for that. And so, there's people are saying, we got a woman beater on WWE TV and all this. Just listen, all this stuff is built for you to not like him. It's exactly that, and it's working. There's something about Ronda walking away while holding her husband's hand that was such a weird thing that worked. It was you can't fuck with me because if I'm not gonna, maybe if you get past me, you got to get to him. Yeah. So you're getting your ass kicked either way.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got happy, smiley Ronda, but now we get badass Ronda.
Which is the Ronda we always wanted.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the only thing that would make it better is Heyman. Put her with Heyman, and it would just be perfect. It would be magic. It really would. I believe that wholeheartedly.
My client, Ronda Rousey.
Right? It would just be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd be up for Brock retaining just for the image of Ronda and Brock with the titles.
Oh, that would be interesting. But I don't know if you guys think Brock is retaining.
Oh, I said I'd be up for it.
Yeah, but what do you think?
Yeah, but I don't think Ronda's retaining.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Ronda's. Yeah,
I don't think Brock is retaining, although it has, I think, really been confirmed that he is going to be wrestling past Mania because he is scheduled when they move SmackDown to Fox.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So
the return of Brock Lesnar to SmackDown is kind of cool, though.
That is cool.
But that means there is a chance that he could walk away at Mania with the title, but I think they're going to give it to Rollins.
Yeah, I think he drops it, and then he could always get the WWE title over on SmackDown. Not that he needs a title. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Like he could beat Kofi's ass at SummerSlam or something.
Oh, my God. Just poor Kofi. He hasn't even won the title yet. We're already burying him.
Not too far from what they were
just been watching wrestling too long.
Yeah, no, I know. We see the handwriting on the wall. We understand what's going on. That's like when that image went around that said oh shit. Oh yeah, there was the image of WrestleMania 9 where Yoko beat Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And then Hogan came out and Bret Hart was like, "Go get him, brother." And like the same thing only with Brock and Seth and Roman Reigns. And that is the worst possible timeline is Seth loses, and then Roman comes out and immediately challenges Brock, and then pins him.
That makes me nervous.
Here's a question. I don't know how relevant this is, but are they going to put out a KO Mania 4 shirt this year?
Ooh. That's a good question.
Because they've been doing the KO Mania shirts the last 3 years.
Yeah, they have been.
Like last year's was the WrestleMania 3 logo of Hogan and Andre, only it was Owens and Owens.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I don't even know.
They could do bigger, better, or whatever, whatever the tagline was.
Bigger, better. Yeah.
Oh my God! Next year's could be the Mega Powers Explode thing, and the Ultimate Challenge could be the year after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they
have so much potential with Kevin Owens shirts.
He's just got to stay healthy. Just got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
How many?
Any news on Sammy?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be something if they're saving him for Mania, and like he comes back and does something with Owens, either as a team or against each other.
I'd love them to have like a tag title run.
Oh, they totally should have at that one point.
Speaking of tag teams breaking up, I wish they would have held up on Gargano and Ciampa.
Well, knowing what we know now, yeah, this whole thing was unfortunately was supposed to come to a resolution at TakeOver, and now it cannot.
I'm just saying I wish they didn't air the breakup and saved it.
Right, yeah, but I guess they had to further getting Johnny Gargano into the other match with Adam Cole. It's Adam Cole, right? That's who he's facing. Okay, good.
But you could have just had Ciampa put him be like, he's my representative to defend Goldie.
That's true. That's true. So the only question I think we have is from Champion Mister.
Well, we don't have Amanda here with her social media questions,
but Champion Mister asked about the Baron Corbin thing, and I just
we pretty much addressed that.
Well, I wanted to acknowledge because he's definitely sent questions in before.
Yeah.
So
I
wanted to acknowledge it.
We appreciate the question,
and we saw it, the screenshot right before we went on the air, so we went right into the idea of.
I mean, like all of us collectively said something on social media last night on our chat right after it happened. The announcement happened.
Yeah. It was. I mean, that was the wet fart segment. Like, it was. And again, I think, like for me, I kept hearing John Cena. And I know that's really far fetched. Looking back, John Cena might be too big of a reach now that he's a movie star or whatever the hell. So maybe he wouldn't. But it's Kurt Angle. You'd think if.
But I love Steve's idea, like that. It's full circle with
right. Yeah. And I'm sure if he had the time or the ability, and you said, John Cena, you're going to wrestle Kurt Angle, and he's retiring, like,
and he wrestled Undertaker for a minute and a half.
Yeah, he would say yes. He would absolutely say yes. So I don't understand how we got to bear all the way down the list. You had to skip like 30 guys to get to.
I'd say more. Anyone on the roster before.
I mean, like, what at this point, what I'd like to see is Corbin come out next week, say, I'm not going to wait for Mania, and then do the match, and then maybe somebody the person that is going to be Angle's opponent costs Angle the match to Corbin, and then
yeah. So they have USA Network had a cut in during whatever reruns on. I think it's Law and Order. Yeah, it's Law and Order, SVU, and they cut into SmackDown. And they said that in addition to the gauntlet match, we've got an episode of the KO show.
Oh.
And the special guests are Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair.
Oh, boy.
With KO, I mean, Owens is already good. They're all very good at the promo thing. So this should be an interesting segment. But the first hour, settle in. The first hour is going to be Kofi's gauntlet match.
Are they opening with that?
Yeah, I believe that's the opener. Because, like I said, I expect shenanigans.
But that would be a great way to end the show by the rope pulling under.
Yeah, but it depends on the timing. Because if they want to resolve it at the end of the show, they have to do it at the
beginning
10 o'clock break. Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
But yeah, if they want to do it another week, but we're so close. Like, do they want to drag it out? Like, I think they're doing those calculations. Like, do we want to drag this out one more week, or do we give it to them? Because I'm telling you, Vince is going to do something screwy. We can talk about it next week when we find out. But I'm just saying that's my prediction, right? That's my prediction. So let's see. Any other things we needed to talk about on today's show? Anything?
I can't think of anything.
Mention? Excellent. I still don't know what the deal is with Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, because I feel like hasn't their partnership broken up like 5 times?
Yeah.
But they're still part. I don't know. Like, I like them together, and I would have preferred if they didn't tease breakups so often, or
I think
they're broken up. It's just weird.
I like it because it's putting Lilo Rush more as a heel because he's a bitch to Lashley.
He kind of is.
He's taking it. Like, he's still hanging on to Lashley even though he's beating on him.
Yeah, he's like a battered wife or something. Oh my god.
That case is Stockholm.
Yes, that is Stockholm syndrome.
So it puts more heat on Lashley and him and when they do break up, there's more fuel.
What was the point?
What's that? What was that? Oh, did Eric freeze?
Eric might have froze.
Eric froze.
He got cut off.
That's funny. Right in the middle of something, too.
Buried by his internet.
And Steve's MIA. Oh, he's back. You froze for a little while, dude.
Eric, are you there?
I've been here. I never left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Little.
I just didn't say anything.
No, it froze. Like you were stuck.
It did. You
were stuck in a pose for a little while, and then you came back.
He was doing his 5-second
pose.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was definitely. You were just. Yeah, you were there, and then
I can't do it.
Yeah. But anyway,
that was so weird.
And God, this is bad of me. I should know. The show was last night. Lashley's the Intercontinental Champion, or is it Finn?
Lashley's the Intercontinental.
So Finn is going to challenge. We just did the. I'm so confused. This is like I'm watching reruns. Like they just did the feud already, and Finn won. And then he lost.
What was the point of Finn's title win then?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I hate that shit.
But here we are, and it's not going to be a bad match because neither of those guys are bad wrestlers. But it's just
I don't know. I don't really care about Lashley anymore.
I feel bad for Braun. That's the last thing I think I'll close out with. I feel bad for Braun that he's in this. First of all, he's in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
He better win.
He better win if he's gonna be in. And then the second thing that stinks is that he's gonna be fucking around with these stupid Saturday Night Live guys the rest of the night.
What is he gonna turn to Andre?
Yeah, but is it really any worse than tagging with a fucking 10-year-old?
Oh god!
I thought that was pretty funny, actually.
Nicholas.
I hated that shit. That was stupid.
He won a title.
Nicholas won a world title. A 10-year-old child was pulled from the crowd and won a championship.
Cool. You're just shitting on a kid, dude.
Fuck him. He's not even a regular kid. He was a ref's kid. It wasn't
a regular fucking kid. What do you mean?
I like this. Fuck him. Fantastic. We're gonna get T-shirts made up that say "fuck Nicholas." No, wait, we might give a wrong impression.
We'll have Chris Hansen intercept our podcast. Guys,
why don't you have a seat right here?
Take a seat.
Would you like some cookies?
Hey,
what's going on with this shirt?
Smackdown with the gauntlet match, and it is just about that time.
Yeah, I've got I kept the USA Network on so I could see what's going on. Looks like we're gonna be counting down to the beginning of SmackDown with the end of this show. So again, if you asked a question to Amanda's social media, we'll get to them when she was on the show next week. Thank you for asking them. Use hashtag AskTheWarReport across social media, Instagram and Twitter. When you use hashtag AskTheWarReport or send a question to AskTheWarReport@gmail.com, you'll be entered into our monthly pay-per-view pick'em for a WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em entry. It's only $5 to enter WrestleRumble.com, but we will give you a free entry for asking a question using hashtag AskTheWarReport or AskTheWarReport@gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media, mainly Instagram and Twitter at TagMeADate, all one word, TagMeADate, no spaces. Same thing at YouTube.com. Go to YouTube.com, type in the search bar, TagMeADate with no spaces. It's all one word. You get to the Tag Me a Date channel where you can subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications for when we go live or upload a new video. And of course, we go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. We recently did a daylight savings time changeover, so if you're listening live now, you survived. Otherwise, adjust your clock to the necessary time and listen to us 7 p.m. on a Tuesday evening on Eastern Time. I think that's about it. We're going to watch SmackDown. I'm going to cook a bunch of hot dogs and eat like a slob. But be sure to go to tagmeadate.com. It's absolutely free to sign up, free to register, free to message people, free to post updates, free to find your tag team match with over 70,000 superstars and divas on our roster. You can find your tag team partner at tagmeadate.com. And the apps are coming both in the iPhone and Android app stores. WrestleMania weekend. More details as we get closer to it. So, guys, that's it. SmackDown is starting. Looks like The Miz is about to come out. Hope you enjoy the show. We will catch you next week, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. Thank you for listening.